I right, edging techniques. Uh, I don't know. I always feel a bit weird doing this kind of videos because I feel like it's a bit teaching your grandmother to suck eggs, but then there's newbies and you know, so I'm doing it. Right, this first one is for if you want a dark edge going into a bit of a lighter colour, but ink padding's sort of out at question. Um, Either on a piece of plastic or a craft mat, glass sheet, whatever. Draw around with your Pitt pen or a felt tape or whatever, and then go in with the colour that you want. You know it to be like I'm using brown here, and I used a black pen, so I'll get a very very dark browny black right on the outer edge, and it'll seep inwards. Um, while I still had a little bit of black in the brush, I just feathered it out to edges and carried on going round. I think I do two of these. Right, I'm sorry that I haven't managed to get the eye tutorial up, but I'm having big problems with my eyes. It's probably a bit too much information, but I've got horrible ganky sores on my eyes that are they're basically bleeding into my eyeball. It, not into my eyeball, but they're on your eye lips, if you will, where you used to put eyeliner in 70s, 80s, around that sort of area, and blood's going into my eyes. It's nasty. Anyway, I don't want to do anything that I have to stare at something for too long. I don't want eye strain on top of it. So this is what I've been doing. I've been making some. Oh, that little standy proppy thing there, that green and brown thing. Mick will put a link to a video about them. The little brush stand paperweight for when you heat drying. Anyway, I'm just showing you there that it don't go through onto the back right much. But you can actually flip it over and do it again if you want it dual sided. These I didn't need them to be. Right, this was just another little idea I had because I was doing quite a lot of these edges on things. So I got some blue tack and paper clips, and I'm using it as a little whirligig. Again, getting what colour I'm using for the outer edges, going round as much as I can, but leaving a space, putting it on, taking another one, doing the same. Then when the first one's dried, filling in that empty bit, and just carrying on going round both sides and whatnot while I'm doing it. That I'm just doing with the black again to make them pop out a little bit more. It's like a little butterfly and dots and things. But it's a handy little trick to know, is that whirligiggy thing. And I'm scraping the brush, loading it up with colour and scraping it down, off the side. Right, this one, it's like a fake metally type of look, aged. That looks not right pretty, but it's basically just introducing gold into the black, and then I scrape my brush off so it's like a bumpy bead round the outside, and then hit it with heat tool until it bubbles a little bit. You don't have to do that bit until it bubbles, you can just let it dry naturally and it still looks nice. And then whatever gold were left on my brush, just watering it down, adding a bit of black by scribbling on my craft mat with me Pitt pen. Decided it weren't black enough, so used a bit of ink. But if you do that, make sure your craft mat is clean and dry before you scribble with your pen. So basically I've done it bright gold and then dulled it down with gold black, and it actually looks a bit prettier than that in real life. Mick's going to try and take a nice picture of it. but the bits that I'm going to be using anyway, so, and you know what I'm like for waste not, want not. And there I just put a bit of dry brushing on top. Right, this is for if you want to edge something and give it a nice, what do you call it, transition inwards, and it's for stuff that's re-wettable, like watercolour, felt tip, kids felt tips, stuff like that. And what I'm doing, somebody reminded me on Friday about this. I actually give this tip out in my boom. I'll put a link to it. But what I do is I put my hands on the table, so my little fingers are resting on the table as such, you know, that my wrists there. I'm resting my little finger against my knuckle, and then you hold the face of the paper away from the felt tip, if you know what I mean. Watch it again and you'll get what I'm saying. So if you slip, it slips down the back, or you're more than likely to slip down the back rather than slipping down the front and wrecking something. Basically, I saw somebody do it, and that's why I came up with it, because they made a boo-boo of what they were doing, and I thought, you know, I can fathom a way that helps, but it does. This is, well, obviously because somebody else was talking about it, mixing acrylic gold and ink, but you can do it with paint as well, you know, acrylic paint. And when you thin it down and mix them together, your mica separates and you get a really pretty mixture, especially when you flick it like I did do there, put them all in little dots. As it dries, your mica floats or something, and your ink sinks in, and you end up with like gold bits and black bits, or gold bits and blue bits, whatever colour you use with it. It looks quite pretty. That's the other side. I've decorated it by now. Make it flicking backwards and forwards. You didn't take that out. Right, to make this a bit more interesting, I went round with red and then squirted it again and let it just dry naturally, so it seeps and makes that ombre sort of effect. And then when it's dry, I edge them in black, which makes it pop, makes the colours a lot brighter looking by, you know, with the contrast between the dark edge and it, whatever colour it is you're using. Right, this is McDonald's bag, and again a Pitt pen, and what I'm doing here is going round, this were in another one of my videos, but it just gets lost because people watch me fast forward, and I didn't realise at the time that so many people did. Go around it, then wet it, but because it's such a big thing I did it in little stages, and don't get the end of your pen wet, else you'd probably be a bit upset. And then wet it into the centre so you don't end up with a tide mark, what they call cauliflower, in watercolour. Right, edging it quite deeply and slowly with some more ink goes in with the brown, and then going around with the black, and it just doesn't look like McDonald's bag anymore. It really doesn't. And because I don't like wasting, I did it with brown, let it dry, and when these dry they're permanent. So what I've done there is I've scribbled on a clean craft mat, you can do it on a piece of plastic or whatever, scribble, then put a drip of water in, and it turns into a paint because it's acrylic paint. No, that's, sorry, Posca pens are acrylic paint. The Pitt pens are India ink. So basically what I did there was I scribbled a bit of the Posca, gold Posca pen, and mix that in with the brown, which gives it like a shimmery sort of effect with this brown again. And I'm just doing here what I did before, edging it, keeping it pressed down to the craft mat so it stays wet for longer, and then wetting it, doing alternative petals, and I don't get my pen wet. And then whatever I've got left on end of brush I just went into the centre. I cut out a leaf and creased it where the veins would be, and then edged along the top of the veins and around the outside with felt tip pen, and squirted it with water, and they've turned out really sweet, haven't they? They're really pretty. Because I don't like wasting, I decided to, you know, make something out of it. Are you tired, pet?
No.
Yes, you are. You're like a baby. Right there, I'm just using a ball tool to shape them, and the palm of my hand. It feels gross. I hate doing that. I know Mark got me a thick foam pad for doing it, but I couldn't find it at the time, and you were downstairs waiting for your tea. You're always waiting for your tea, I know. That's all we ever do, videos, tea, goodbye. And right, that's a liquid pearly type of thing, and it went inside and blew a lump in, so I had to clean it off. Managed to get a perfect little, but it had a peak on, so what you do is you pick it up very carefully, and it's sweet. Pick it up right careful and then flick it underneath, and the one to your right, you can see a little peak. It looks like a little chocolate drop, but if you flick it, they spread, and the peak finally disappears. Right, so if I think of any more, I'll be back with some more. Please like, share. I nearly said shake it, baby. Pardon? And thank you to all my new subscribers, and if you're not subscribed, why not? Basically, think you should. Go on. Met me day. Right. Pardon? What? Bye bye. What are you saying? What are you saying to me? Stop whispering and shaking your head. Tell me. Stop. Tell me. Okay, I'm not bothered. Tell me. Come on. Tell me. I thought you said it stopped. You're a prat. Bye.